So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Jupiter in the 12th house for Aries ascendant people. As in, what is Jupiter going to do when it's in the 12th for this particular ascendant? And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular Jupiter, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, along with all your astrological details, you can check out the links here, astrology.com, where especially on shop section, you will find my full report and along with all my consultations at this link. And also I'm uploading additional videos on my blank chart predictions where I show remedial things just from blank chart, activation theory from blank chart. I just uploaded today regarding the luck and bhagya of marriage through just blank chart. And I'll do more of those. So it's a long series actually now in there. I'll just be uploading every day, every other day there. So Jupiter is in the 12th house in Pisces. And one thing you have to understand, even though Jupiter is not an ascendant lord, but Jupiter is going to represent you because Jupiter is the Jiva Atma, the Jiva Karka, the living soul of the chart, the one who's breathing oxygen, because Jupiter provides oxygen. So it really shows who this person is. Actually, the whole chart shows who you are when it comes to different departments of your life. Okay, but Jupiter is the massive body. And here, one of the most prominent things you'll see, the person just here to find release. The person is here to find freedom. We can't call it moksha because it's very difficult to find moksha. Out of 8 billion people, maybe 3 or 4 people will actually find moksha in your lifetime. Enlightenment in your lifetime. And please remember, Kundalini awakening is not moksha. Kundalini awakening is just opening the door of realization that, oh, this is what this is. Now I have to work towards getting my moksha. So it's a very, very complicated subject to discuss, especially from someone like me who's not even enlightened. So if somebody who's not enlightened shouldn't be even discussing this. And the ones who are enlightened, they will never be here. Never be here. Okay? They would want to run away. But on one hand, it does show that no matter what this person does, they're doing it just so they can get away from things. Go away from things. And this person in Pisces will repeatedly, it's like making a circle over and over again. They will repeatedly do the same thing to find the release, and they get stuck into that particular thing that they keep doing over and over, not knowing why is it that I can't find a door. It's like a maze. You're going around the same circle with the maze and you can't find the door. Where the door is probably hidden in those green leaf walls where you're supposed to brush off the leaves and see the door. So there's that repeated pattern that occurs here with these individuals. On the other hand, their life, their consciousness, first is about giving before they even think about taking. If let's say you want this person to help you with something, they'll help you. They're not saying that, okay, so what's in it for me? Or even if you tell them, can you help me with this and I'll give you this. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do this. Because when they do a task, when they give themselves into service, it's actually feeling like that third door is opening, so they're not going round in circles. They're finding the fact, they're trying to analyze and look into the fact that me giving myself into service is somehow going to help me to get away from most of the things in my life. That's why they give service. So what happens with this person is that even when it comes to dealing with property, let's say father's property, they'll actually the one that can actually give the property away. Usually the person does not get father's property. And they kind of manufacture this own idea that no, I didn't want this. That's why I didn't get it. And Jupiter in the 12th house, the more this person studies, education, study, learning, that's that dose that keeps the dopamine alive. And I'm not talking about regular studies. A lot of people may go into investments. A lot of people will go into, equity related markets with this particular Jupiter. People will love to go into things like psychology, psychiatry with this particular Jupiter. But the thing is, at one point, when their maturity awakens through certain circumstances based on how the other planets are placed, what dasha they're going through, they suddenly realize this is not the study that is really showing me my identity, because Jupiter is that identity. The identity actually comes when this person begins to go towards soul searching knowledge. For example, if Jupiter in the 12th house person studies things like, let's say, reads the book Autobiography of a Yogi, or reads the book of Vivekananda, okay, Neem Karoli Baba, this is where they begin to unravel that, oh, this is knowledge. This is the type of person who can be a scientist, but he's going to be a scientist like Carl Jung, who wants to dive deep into the area of consciousness and try to understand this from the point of divinity of ancient cultures like India. Or, for example, Paul Breton of his book like Discovering India. This is how your real knowledge, because Jupiter represents the real knowledge, because it's ruling the Dharma house, the 9th house. But see, the Dharma house no longer matters for this Jupiter. Because when Jupiter is in that feminine sign, it's completely enveloped in the feminine energy. And feminine energy is about the heart knowledge. It's about the subconscious knowledge. It's about the divine knowledge. It's no longer about the masculine knowledge that, okay, how do I make this plas, or plier? How do I, discover this so we can make this new iPhone type device? Those are masculine like energy. But when that divine, like usually, especially with Jupiter and Pisces, you will see a person will strongly be connected to Tara, the Tara Devi. And it could be prominent, especially if in your Vimsamsa chart, Jupiter goes into Tara Devi, then it's obviously prominent that worshipping that Devi brings about a whole point of knowledge that you never knew. Which is, of course, that's why I have my Vimsamsa reading open as well, because there's so many things and element you can discover as to what is the progress of your spiritual progress, and the obstacle, and when those obstacles come in. And why I went deep into the Vimsamsa? Because of my own frustration as to why my sadhana has been full of obstacles, not been able to do sadhana. The mind is not into it. Mind is not into doing kriya. And that's when I went into it like 6 months ago. I'm like, okay, the birth chart shows everything, but I want to go deeper. Like BNN, Bhrigunandi Nadi will show everything, but I just, for me, there's this love with divisional charts. Like I just find like it's just this new this discovery. It's like another additional, tool that you will use in your art. It's fun, it's joyful. And that's when you see that, okay, well, it's more powerful than just joyful. It is actually definitely needed as to based on the dasha and antradasha that you're going through and why the obstacle is coming. So I know that this obstacle will last for another 7 months for me. But this Jupiter is going to be much more inclined towards wanting to understand that part. Now, Jupiter is in the 12th house in Pisces, where Venus gets exalted. Venus goes at the feet of Vishnu, because Venus is Lakshmi. Where does Lakshmi belong? Lakshmi belongs with Vishnu, right? So for this particular individual, The wealth. This is, look, you've got wealth giving nakshatras in majority of the Pisces sign, which is Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati. These are Lakshmi ruled nakshatras. So don't think that this is not going to give money. It gives money. It gives money in abundance. But you know how it gives money is that surrender to the divine knowledge is very important. Like, for example, I mean, I know it's a very cliche example, like Steve Jobs going to Neem Karoli Baba and then finding spirituality in the money. And that's actually not true. When you're supposed to make money, you don't need to go see Neem Karoli Baba. You don't need to see, like, imagine people say, oh, Mark Zuckerberg went to go see Neem Karoli Baba and Steve Jobs, and that's why they're billionaires. I'm sorry, but there's like thousands and thousands of people going visiting his ashram, his temple. And they're average people doing average things. So it has nothing to do with it. It's just a way to glorify certain talking points. Like how somebody says, oh, JP Morgan used or billionaires use astrologers, not millionaires. So you don't know. He probably didn't do it. He didn't do it as much. But they saw it as a marketing point. Because you're bringing that energy of getting money through certain vasana samskars from your past life. This is why intuition is so important to develop in Jyotish, because the same Dhan Yoga, and you can try all the techniques. Nakshatra, Pada, and then where's the Navamsha and the Hora chart and what's happening in the Dreshkan. But that intuition will tell you, yes, this person should have money. You feel that in the chart. When you open the chart, you feel like it's a very prestigious chart. It's kind of like somebody, like you going into a mall and walking in front of a Rolex store. You'll be like, oh yeah, okay. I don't know if I should walk in there. Right? That truly comes through under like developing your sadhana. And this is the Jupiter that will give that. Now, one of the things that I will say is that for this individual, going to foreign lands, far away from home, is another dwar, as they say, another door that opens that lets them understand towards their subconscious focus towards moksha. Because this person wants to exit, they want to escape. So once they are far away from home, that's when things begin to happen where somehow life begins to unravel to them, their life, not life as a whole, their life. And in there they find the whole life. And this is the person, because see, 5th aspect of Jupiter is on the 4th house and 8th aspect is on the, or 9th aspect is on the 8th house. So first of all, if this person wants to attain moksha and do sadhana, which is the 9th aspect, it's actually coming through the blessings of the Pitris. And if the Pitris, and this is where you'll have to see position of Rahu, you'll have to actually look at the Dwadasamsha. Yes, even if you're doing BNN, you want to see that does that automatic blessing that I cannot do anything about. 9th aspect of Jupiter, you can't do anything about it. It's there as a certain form of blessings. That's for sure. Now, blessings could be that much, blessings could be this much. But towards their sadhana, or let's say this person is in banking, so the 8th house will represent other people's money. How much they will get, it's actually already determined. No matter how hard they work, how little they work. But the 5th aspect of Jupiter is on the 4th house, which means it's the aspect of creation. Why? Because Jupiter is a karka of children. This is by 5th aspect of Jupiter will show the creation of a child. So 4th house will represent that this person is going to have to create. They're going to create something in their life to bring them happiness related to home, property, real estate. That's what they're creating with the 4th house. Jupiter in the 12th house is very strongly focused on making their home a creative project, a creative thing, a romantic thing. Why? Because process of having children is a romantic thing. Okay, this is why 5th house is romance, which then leads to the 7th house, which then leads to children. So for this person, what they create with Jupiter in the 12th house is the 4th house related things. Whether it's happiness of any kind, comforts of any kind. Okay. Their learning experience truly comes through the mother. If, let's say, other planets, moon is there. Now, for example, let's say this Jupiter is in the 12th house, but moon is in the 11th house. Then the negative experiences of that mother, they will create that happiness. But this is why mother becomes a home, and the mother home life becomes that main root why they're creating something in their life. Some people will say, I'm like, for example, Breaking Bad, Walter White's character. He wasn't in the meth business because, well, I just want to be the biggest cartel. No, he wanted to provide for his family before he died. So most likely you can see that, okay, he might have Jupiter in the 12th house, where also 12th house is confined places, chemist labs, right? Hospitals, clinics. And what did he do? He always worked in very isolated places. So this is where you can see that we can create Walter White's chart. Jupiter is in the 12th. So, the entire Breaking Bad is about escaping from things. Escaping from trouble, or escaping from the government, escaping from home, this and that. So there's that escape theme that plays out here. Okay. So this was our Aries Jupiter. Next, I'm thinking I might do Jupiter for Taurus ascendant in one video. Let's see. It could be a long video, so I don't know if I want to do that, but we'll see that. Otherwise, hopefully if you're new here and you will subscribe, and like I said, you can check out all the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.